What's up, everybody? Back here for episode 80 of the Pitside podcast. It's a special episode this week. We got a charity event coming up that we're going to talk a little bit about. And then a special episode for me. I've got number 8, Jeremy Tate. One of my best buddies growing up is going to join us here. He's new to the league, and we'll get a little bit of his perspective having joined the league here recently. We'll get started in just a minute.
Welcome to the Pitside Podcast, where we discuss the latest news and developments in the Coast to Coast Racing League, as well as other racing news inside and out of iRacing. Here's your host, the Ayla Outlaw, Preston Cranmer, and Roger, the Bassman, Craig.
Yep, so we're back. It's been a little bit of time, I guess about 3, maybe 4 weeks since we caught up.
I think 3 weeks, yeah. So it has been. I was away for a bit, and then things were a little bit crazy. So Christmas and New Year's and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I haven't really chatted with you since Christmas.
No.
How'd your holidays go?
It was great. We had a great Christmas, and Christmas Day was quiet. We had already had our family Christmases, but a bunch of the grandkids stopped in that day, which was really, really nice. So that turned out good. And then we spent New Year's up at Torrey's Landing, a little bit up north from here, and a little bit nice wintry. Well, it was raining, but it was nice wintry weather up there. You know, snow out in the ground and stuff. So it was a nice break for my wife and I. That's
too cold to fish.
Yeah, for me, I'm not. My season ends anymore now in September. So
yeah. No sense of being cold if you can avoid.
I've always told people my idea of ice fishing was down in Florida with a glass of ice in my hand and bass in the other. That's as close as I get. So it was it was great. It was great, great break. And but I missed. Well, I watched all the broadcasts and missed not being on the track. That's for sure. But it sometimes it's healthy that way. You get a break and come back and you're a little more rejuvenated.
Yeah, I find that I usually race better, at least for a couple of weeks, when I've had a break to just kind of reset and you're not in your own head and kind of overthinking things.
Yeah. I'm not sure I was better, but it's just good to get back with the salty dogs and it was have a few laughs again. That's for sure.
Yeah, so obviously we're recording this on Wednesday night. It comes out Sunday, but we just finished the Enduro. If you did not get a chance to see that live, do yourself a favor and go back and watch it. I don't get a chance to catch all the broadcasts.
No.
This one was an absolute riot from the very beginning. Barry Goldner, well, you know what? I don't want to give anything away. Just go watch it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
go watch
hysterical.
It's great. It was a great ending, and the guy that won, I couldn't be happier for. So, even though he became I was giving him a break for the first few laps, but when it came down to 10 to go, there's a target on his back, but we couldn't. Well, just pull up that broadcast and Hometown Heroes on last Wednesday night, and it was a great finish. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was awesome. So we kind of teased it in the intro, but we got a charity event coming up. So tell us a little bit about what's going on there.
So really excited about the Winter Nationals that's coming up. 4 classes, fixed 358s and 305s, and open 360s and big blocks. So there's a little bit there for everybody, I think. 4 nights. You have your choice of running Monday or Tuesday. They're both qualifying nights, or you could mix it up. If that's too long a night for you, you could run, say, 305s and small blocks, on Monday, and then 360s and the big blocks on Tuesday, or whatever. And then there'll be Wednesday will be the alphabet soup, and could be like 12 races that night. It's gonna be crazy. Be a challenge for sure. And then the championship night. So we've got payouts, we got trophies, we got door prizes, all the regular stuff. And I'm really, really proud the fact that Salty Dog stepped up. They're the title sponsor, so that should cover off all the expenses, so that everything that drivers donate, 100% of it will go to childhood cancer. So we've got it tied in with Roland Olson's daughter, who sponsored our Xfinity series. So they're part of the Thon at the University of Pennsylvania. That all goes to Four Diamonds, their hospital there, and all the funds go to help children battling with cancer, but more importantly, their families as well, and so that they don't see a medical bill. So it's all for just a great cause. Probably, one of the most important ones we've done to date.
Yeah, and there is and I'm going to blank on what number it was, but there was a podcast where we had Roland's daughter, and I'm also forgetting her name. Shame on me.
Yeah, Olivia.
Olivia, thank you.
Yeah,
yeah, we had her on the podcast. It was a great interview. If you want to check that out, go back and watch that. She's also, if you haven't seen it, there's a little commercial that plays on our broadcast, which I would assume most people have seen by now. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and it explains it too. So you can check it out there, and she kind of touches on where it's affected her personally. She had a friend who had basically thought they were fine and ended up having non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it was a real battle for them. But through the program she's working through, I think Four Diamonds is the organization that handled it. They didn't have to pay any medical bills, and that's something we've heard similarly through the Steve King Foundation. Generally, what they try to do too. So we know that kind of thing works, and I mean we've seen that work in people's lives that we are familiar with through the league now. So if we can step up and help some children, I think we should definitely be all for that, and I think we'll see that the guys support that too.
Yeah, and it should be a great event. One new twist we're adding: we've always had the veterans and first responders. They get a free provisional, one free provisional, and they get a couple of races to highlight those guys. We're also adding a couple of races for volunteers. So all our unsung heroes that are behind the scenes, making the league work, it's a little bit of love to show them. So that there'll be a provisional for them as well. So the military guys will do the first responders. They'll do the fixed divisions, and volunteers will be going for the open divisions. So if you look at our volunteers, they're more of the skilled drivers. So that's kind of a good fit for that. So
yeah, that's cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So every charity event, it seems like we find a new twist to add that just makes it better, and we build on these. So I guess the other thing to mention is there's an early bird. So the early bird, it's $10 for one class, $15 for two, $20 or $25 for four. And then after January 24th, no, January 22nd, pardon me, Sunday, January 22nd. After that, it increases $5 a class. So it'd be 15, 20, 25, or 30. So sign up now. It's good from an organization perspective. The more guys we get sign up early, we get a better idea of car counts and how we're going to schedule the races and stuff.
I know the last few times you've mentioned that everybody's jumped to sign up real quick, so I'm sure they will this time too.
Yeah, it's got to be the most stressful part of these whole things is a week before. You don't know, you don't even have enough to fill a couple of heats. So and then the flood comes, and all of a sudden now you're trying to figure out, do I have enough spots open to get these guys in? So I would just ask, if you're going to race, if you're considering it, enter early, just for my benefit, if not to save the money. So
yeah, and really that's why we give you guys the discount, and it's because it helps us. So please take advantage of that, save yourself the money, and do us the favor. Really, I mean it helps on both ends. So should be good for everybody.
Yeah. So really looking forward to that. I have been distracted a little bit in this interview though. That hat you're wearing, it's just there it is. Jeez, is that all the players signed that?
It's not all of them. So this was back from years ago. Man, you know what? We should have talked about this story while Jeremy was on the podcast, because he was with me when I got this signed. Actually, Jacob was too.
Okay, so
we're gonna tell the story. No, let's tell the story, because he can watch.
Sure?
Yeah, he'll watch it Sunday and not know this is coming.
Okay.
So we decided one year to go up. This was probably 2016, 2017. Yeah, because it was before they won the Cup. So, yeah, it was before that. We were in college. Decided to go up for training camp one year because we'd heard that it was pretty loose environment. It's, you go to a game, you're never going to get near the players. Yeah. So we go up to the practice arena, which was Kettler Capitals Iceplex, I think. And it was. I mean, you just walk right in, you stand against the glass. So we got there super early, which is a bad habit of mine. If I'm going somewhere where I'm going to have fun, I'm going to get there an hour early. So we're the first ones in there. And there was a player, I think he was from Czechoslovakia, but I don't remember. His name was Wojtek Volsky. And so we're just sitting around the rink, and Jeremy says, I got to go to the bathroom. And this is the part where I should mention we had made way too many vodka gummy bears to take with us. So we had gotten to the rink and just been munching on them because, frankly, we just had nothing to do because we were just sitting around. So everybody's just popping these gummy bears in their mouth. So I didn't really feel much, but Jeremy goes off to the bathroom, and here comes Wojtek Volsky, and we're the only ones in the arena, and Jacob and I are just sitting there, and he just sat down, and we just talked to him for a while. Jeremy's in the bathroom, and we hear from the bathroom, and I'm going to yell, so I hope it's not too loud. He goes, "Yay, hockey!" And the player that's sitting with us goes, "What the hell was that?" And sees him leave the bathroom and quickly gets up and scurries away. So he missed his chance to meet this player who wasn't on the team long. But it was this really cool moment, and we've given Jeremy a hard time about being drunk on vodka gummy bears and embarrassing himself in front of the Capitals. So it was a good time. But so what we did was after the practice was over, we just kind of went around because the parking deck's attached to the structure and everything. So we just kind of waited in the parking deck, and they all come out, stand around, talk to you. I have a picture of, this will be a polarizing statement. I have a picture of Tom Wilson and I squared up, knuckles up. Of course, he's a foot and a half taller than me. So that was a good time. So it was a lot of fun. And but I didn't get Ovechkin's signature. He has and I know you called it a commie hat earlier, so I feel the need to clarify that. But he has a deal where any signatures he gives has to be through some Liberty media group. But we watched him sneak off around the corner and sign some stuff for some kids, and then come back around and hop in his Mercedes G-Wagon and drive away. So I thought he did the right thing, and he kind of tried to hide it. But hopefully nobody from the NHL is watching our podcast.
Yeah, right. Well, begrudgingly, the guy is an awesome hockey player. He's you can't do this comparison, but even when he first came in the league, he reminded me of Rocket Richard. He was so intense and just a great player. That the only problem I have is his Instagram or whatever it is, where he's got his arm around Putin. That just destroys it all. So.
Yeah, I know. I have some trouble with that myself. So we'll leave it at that. I think for now.
So we'll just leave you with your commie hat there.
Yeah. Yeah. So just kind of moving on from that, I know we talked about the charity event. I wanted to briefly mention, I know we talked a lot about the NASCAR stuff, and I don't want to get into it, but so much. It has been going well. Generally, it's been getting better. If you look at the trend, I'm sure we see it going up. You got your dips in there, but overall, we're getting much better. There's still little mistakes here and there, but when accidents happen, and you're not seeing as many guys come piling in for the most part, though I caused one the other night, and it was chaos. But the problem we're having now is call-outs, guys. The radio chatter's got to stop. I can tell you, and I can't speak for Roger and any decision we would make, but all this stuff gets weighed in whether we keep a division or not. And frankly, NASCAR right now, as far as popularity, is our best division. But when call-outs start happening, it forces somebody to have to go back and re-listen to the entire transcript of chat from a race. It's exceptionally time-consuming, and it's not something we can continue to do on a regular basis. So we don't have the option really to mute chat in NASCAR because everybody's got to be able to call out when they're going to the pits. And so, I mean, we don't want to be forced to make any kind of decision. It'd be nice to just be able to leave it open. But at the rate that's trending in the wrong direction. So it's got to stop. I mean, it's not a question of it needs to get better. It has to end entirely.
It was bad when we started because there was a bunch of new guys in the league, and then it seemed to be under control, and now it's gone stupid again. And it's for sure it's zero tolerance. We're a community racing league. This is how one of the differentiators of running in officials, where it makes it more enjoyable. And so it's if we have to, we'll have to tighten it down. I had another instance in a dirt race this past week where somebody made a comment, and all they were doing was really just making a comment about like that they didn't really mean to do whatever they did, but then but then the return comment was stronger, and it could have gone right off the wall.
Yeah.
So it's really really tough because some guys get on and they don't mean harm, but it instigates the next one. And how come you let him say something and then I can't? And
It's a
so
good point.
it just
It's a very good
yeah
point. And I think maybe where I was coming from was from a harsher perspective. But you're right, because we need everybody to kind of consider with if what they're about to share is necessary. Because really, that's the only thing that should be going across the radio is necessary to race communications. And I'm even talking about, you got a complaint about a black flag. Well, if you know we don't clear black flags, it's not the time even really to ask a question about it, because there's nothing we can do about it right then. It's not to say we wouldn't help you if we have the moment, but it potentially clogs the radio for something else. Somebody
yeah
calling Lucky Dog coming around. So it's got to be only necessary communications. It doesn't necessarily mean you said something out of the way or wrong, but it's still we need you to not. And it's hard for guys, and I get that because I've been guilty of it myself. It just we need everybody to be a little bit more aware of
yeah.
it.
It was even when I was admitting before that uh, Ish and
Dustin.
Dustin uh, volunteered, which was great. But there was times I couldn't get across as race control because guys are clogging the chat. So if nothing else, is for that as well. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, but yeah, I hate to be Debbie Downer here bringing all these things up. The other one after tonight too, we got to make a decision, but it is rather disappointing at Lincoln Speedway. Last week we had 7 cautions in 20 lap races, 7 cautions in every the 305, 360, 410. And tonight I think we were up there. I think it was 5, 8, and I don't know, but I think we're probably going to go to Lernerville. It pains me to do that because I love Lincoln. Lincoln is a high, and I guess that's the issue. It's a highly technical track.
Yeah.
It's probably the most technical track, a dirt track on the iRacing platform, and it's a cool track, but it's just not working. Like it's not fun to have you're in a pace, not a race. And then all three, whether we've tried different track settings. You got 410s, which are like a handful, and you've got like 305s, which should be able to handle it. It's just not working. So we may go to Lernerville and just to give it a break and see where things go. So
So I haven't had the chance to race there, so I'm curious. Do you have an opinion of what makes Lincoln so technical? Is it just the size?
well, it's the size. I think the track wears better than any other track I've seen. You know me, I'm not the technical guy to talk to. Like, I know all the Renegade guys love it.
Yeah.
It's all positive feedback. Um, what I found is my, my comparison is turn one and going down the front straight into turn one. It's like going in weed sport where
Yeah, I've heard that.
it tightens up. So as I know John Hines explained it, where you go into turn one, the guys on the inside are drifting up, the guys on the outside are cutting down because of just the nature of the exit of
They're
two.
following the walls, right?
And yeah, and then coming out of four can be difficult too. But it's a great track, and like I love how it wears. It seems to wear. I think I heard Goldner one night it was one of the preliminary nights, and said like this is the best natural wearing track he'd ever seen.
That's
So
kind of what I was hoping you would say. Maybe iRacing is tweaking how they're developing the tracks now. Maybe we'll see them go back and revamp the kind of the dirt model and the old ones
yeah,
soon at least.
well it seems pretty cool. Hein had some good questions in the interviews tonight where he was asking Blake and Blake Chapman and uh, Stephen Goldner about what about the Renegades running there, with open setups where they can adjust it, and they both felt that yeah, it'll be. I can't wait to see those guys run that track because it is highly technical, and the first few weeks are really tough because guys are just getting used to the track. But it's still, we're into week 5, and we're still, having, I mean, way, everybody agrees, way too many cautions. So, and next week, interestingly, will be a double points night. So I'm not sure where we'll be doing it, but it will be double points night on Wednesday night. So hopefully that'll get a few more drivers out too as well. So, and see how that goes.
Cool. Well, so we're getting ready to jump over and talk to Jeremy, but make sure you go make your payment for the charity event that's coming up, and like Roger said, come out for double points night next Wednesday. I think maybe I'll have to show up for that too. And we'll see you back here next week for episode 81 of the Pitside podcast. Roger, time for just one more? Nothing this week. All right.
Nothing.
We'll go talk to
my mind was going, and I couldn't think of anything other than that.
You usually have one for me.
I know. I'm looking forward to the interview because it was a great interview with Jeremy. Just a great dude, and I'm jealous that he has picked up iRacing so fast.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. All right, we'll go talk to him now. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Drive safe.
Yeah, so we're back, and as I mentioned earlier, we're here with kind of a special guest this week. I've got my buddy, childhood friend, Jeremy Tate here with us. He's also a member of my my asphalt team that we've put together for the past couple of seasons. So, welcome to the Pitside podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome, buddy. It's good to see the front of you. I always just see the back of your car when I'm out in the track.
So that's something we've kind of been talking about is one of the reasons we wanted to bring you on the show is you're one of the first drivers that we've had since we kind of have officially launched NASCAR that's come on specifically for our asphalt side as part of the new asphalt league. And how have you found things, just league racing? I know you're new to iRacing in general too, but
it's way better than officials. I have a really frustrating time in officials. It's cool to get out and run with the community and kind of learn how guys drive versus random drivers every time you log in.
Yeah, and we won't ask you which guys drive which way, but you are new to iRacing too. When did you start? I don't remember exactly.
July 4th, 2022.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
that was a little longer ago than I thought.
Yeah, that's crap, man.
It's like 6 months, I think.
He's already fast. Well, I was going to say he's already faster than me. Everybody's faster than me, but no, I wouldn't have believed he's only been racing that long. That's amazing. Do you have any kind of a racing background?
No, sir. Other than going and watching on TV.
You're a kart mechanic.
Yeah, I helped Preston out with his kart, and we both live like 30 minutes from the Richmond track, so going there as a kid and watching and stuff like that. But as far as driving myself, no.
Wow, since July, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. So what was the learning curve like for you? I mean, I'm asking sincerely because it's been so long since I started. Where'd you find your struggles? How did you have a hard time adapting from official once you started league stuff? Just generally, what gave you trouble? What did you find easy?
Starting off, I think it was equipment. I bought a cheaper wheel and pedals and all that. Once I upgraded that, I got a better feel for things. And because obviously I'd driven on yours before, and the stuff I bought didn't feel anything like that. So I had to add something closer to that. But as far as coming over to the league stuff, it was basically giving guys room and learning how to drive. And I'm still struggling with it. I had a few slip-ups every now and then, but I feel like I'm getting better at it. Just basically leaving guys space and trying not to hold up anybody faster unless I know I can compete.
Yeah, you mentioned switching equipment. I think, in some ways that you're definitely right. It benefits you because you move to a direct drive wheel, which I know is what you have.
So let me jump. What did you have? What did you start with? What did you have when you started?
I bought a used G29.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if it was worn out when I bought it. It just didn't feel like I would have wanted it to.
And what about computer and screen, like triples or single monitor?
No, single monitor. I bought VR, but I don't run in it because I'm not used to it, or I don't feel like I have it set up right. But I'm just running single monitor.
So, and what do you have now for a wheel and pedals?
The Fanatec CSL DD and the CSL pedals.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part to me. I can handle that he's beating me a little bit, especially since it's just asphalt, because he won't have a chance once we get on dirt. But the equipment is what drives me nuts, because he started out, he's sitting at a desk with his G29, and 6 months later he's out-geared me by a country mile. So he's now beating me both on the track and in the rig.
So are you still on single screen?
Yes, sir.
And he'd still beat you with single screen, Preston.
Now,
Sorry, just
are
thought
you
I'd
on an
mention
ultra wide, or is it still? Or you still have your just regular?
29-inch ultra wide.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
30
So
inch. Kind of like what you have, just not curved.
Yeah. So he does have an ultra wide, gives him a little extra, but it's a 21/9, not the 32, right?
Yeah, 21.
Yeah. So it's not equivalent to triples either. So
Wow.
triples still have an advantage on him.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome, man.
So I mean, I guess that part of coming into the league, you got it a little bit different than everybody else, because you kind of got put on the team and then brought into the league. But how is being on a team? Because I know we hear from guys from time to time who say, "Hey, I'm looking for somebody." How do you think that made a difference for you?
It helps when you're trying to figure out what you're doing wrong. Like if you notice a guy's faster, it's not like you have to jump in somebody else's Discord, start asking questions. You can kind of work together, figure things out. Hold a practice like once, twice a week, however many you can fit in, and kind of go from there and build together.
Yeah, and we had, you got Brandon especially, but Dwayne too, both on our team that had some experience. I know they coached you along too, but
yeah.
Roger, you got any questions? I feel like I'm monopolizing.
Yeah.
this.
So
I know Jeremy.
yeah, I was letting you run with that, but you were childhood buddies. So like, how far back does that go?
So yeah, go ahead. You answer that.
No, you can get.
Well, I was going to say you were there. So I moved in when I was about 4.
Yeah,
right?
I was 3. So yeah, it's right about 30 years in May.
Yep, that's right. So Jeremy lived across the street all the way through, really college. I mean, we moved out to go be adults, and that was the first time we'd ever really not lived across the street from one another. So we spent most of our time together. He stayed the summers at our house and everything. Got in trouble with my mom just like I did. So
Yeah. Oh, that's wild, man. That's awesome. I didn't
Lots
know
of
it went
stories.
that far back. Yeah, I thought it was like grade 2 or grade 3 or something, but I didn't know it went back that far. Wow.
Yeah, and
That's
Jacob's
pretty
been around pretty much the same, first grade, I think.
And when you say Jacob,
Jacob Butcher
that's
on our team.
Jacob Butcher, yeah.
yeah.
So what, he lived on the same street?
We met him through rec league soccer, and I was in his first grade class.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. So it's truly an A-let core of on your team.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so Dwayne's a little bit older than we are, but he went to King William High School, and I knew him through there. We also kind of bonded. We were both big Caps fans, so I knew Brandon, who's also on our team. We played soccer with him. He was a year older than I was, and so we were all on the same soccer team in high school. And so I knew Dwayne through Brandon then, and so we kind of hit it off, started going to a couple of games together. So we've all been friends for a long time, so we catch up on the regular and get out there and practice. And that really did help a lot. And it hurts sometimes too. And you're on team with your friends, tensions get high sometimes, and you have to kind of navigate that team aspect along with your friendship. But as far as I really think it helped Jeremy and Jacob both, because they all knew each other. There's no embarrassment asking questions, that kind of thing, which you'd hope there wouldn't be. But it's been a good environment for those guys to get out there and learn, I think. And I'm talking too much again.
Well, no, but it's an interesting aspect because other teams like the Salty Dogs, you get to meet the guys through iRacing. You don't know their background. You don't know their personality as much, other than you've raced with them for a year or two, so you get a feel for it. But versus you guys, there's 5 guys on your team who you intimately knew, growing up. So all those, just the emotions and all that stuff that everybody carries. So definitely got to be an advantage, I think, in a lot of ways, for sure.
Well, and out of everybody on the team, and I think that's important to know. Jacob is a little bit greener than Jeremy. He started probably 2 or 3 months after you did. But out of everybody on the team, Jeremy is beating us in points in both Xfinity and the trucks. So
I think Jacob's ahead. Jacob's ahead in trucks and maybe Xfinity. I've had a couple bad weeks.
Well, I don't think he's ahead in trucks. I think you're third after last night, but we'll check in a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had those numbers up just a minute ago, but uh, no, that's awesome, man. That's awesome, and I know I've raced with you in the GT3s. You've come out there
Hmm.
and with the trucks and Xfinity, and it's great to race around you. You know, when you're racing in those races, you're always aware of who's around you
Hmm.
and who you can trust and who you know you got to be aware of. I'm sure I'm on a lot of people's lists, but
Especially after
it's
tonight.
but it's no it's good to race with you. You know, you're a great clean racer, just unfortunately faster than me. But anyways, that's you know. But
Yeah, I was actually
it's
worried
good.
one night because the Bristol night we ran, I was trying to work around Roland and I got a run off of him and just punted you through the corner. So I saved a video and I texted Preston and said, I'm probably going to get banned from the league. That's when I instantly messaged you and was like, I'm so sorry I did that.
It's very funny because we get a lot of different general attitudes about things like that in our league, and so we get the guys who you wreck somebody that's racing, I don't care, whatever, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Jeremy's the total opposite. Every time he makes a mistake, am I gonna get suspended? I'm getting text message the next morning. Am I getting a penalty for this? Like I'm like, man, if you were gonna get suspended, you would know. But we've had a lot of laughs. We've given him a hard time about that. So I'm gonna kind of open it up here, and actually, and this is one of the rare cases that I think my question might be a little easier than Roger's. But who would you say is your biggest rival in our league?
Oh, I wouldn't say rival, but you kind of always want to try to finish better than your teammates just for bragging rights in practice and stuff. But I wouldn't say I have any rivals. I'm sure I've upset some guys, but I don't know. I wouldn't say I have a rival necessarily.
Yeah, I do think your teammates for you may be the right answer because you don't have a lot
Yeah.
of history with other guys. And then there's the aspect of you and Jacob coming into iRacing and both the league around the same time to run the same things. And
Hmm.
maybe he's not your rival, but I mean when I'm looking at it, that's kind of where I'm comparing because I know where you guys are as far as your sim racing career, kind of, and so it's y'all are roughly in the same place. So it's a good way to gauge yourself. So I think it's a good answer.
Yeah, especially the week. He had what, three top five or top tens in a row? And I'm sitting there like, what is he doing different than I'm doing? And I had to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's probably a good answer.
So one question before I get into the question I always ask, I got to ask, like, where'd you get that seat? It looks like it's got wings on it or something there.
Amazon, actually.
Oh yeah.
NRG 600 WT, I think.
So what's the purpose of that? The width that thing like it
I
looks
actually
like
didn't notice it until the camera got on it, but I don't know. It comes like to the sides of my head. I guess it's maybe to
oh
be
oh
realistic.
it's
I
Like,
I
okay.
suspect it's not as wide as it looks in the camera.
You know what
yeah,
it
it
is?
comes out more than it's wide.
Yeah, it's looking like it's flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That my where yeah, it's hooked around. Okay, that makes
Mhm.
sense. That makes total sense. But and this is an interesting question because I mean you've had a short career. Your greatest iRacing memory.
I already know the answer, but
Yeah, it's got to be last night, even though I didn't even expect any of that. Like, I wasn't prepared for Patrick's interview, anything like that. Just
Oh
I
yeah,
thought I
yeah,
was coming in sixth or seventh place and was going to be happy with that. But and for it to happen in Richmond, that was pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. That's true.
Hmm.
yeah, you should have run that Virginia is for lovers paint.
Well, I switched numbers and I didn't
Oh,
have
that's
the
right. I forgot about that. I gotta make you a paint.
forgot
Oh
to
yeah,
ask you to
yeah,
update it.
yeah. That's a pretty cool paint you got, and surprised that number was available. That was a
Yeah,
good
I saw it
opportunity.
Christmas Eve, and I was like, Preston, how do I get that? And
Yeah,
he said, message the league and see if they'll do it.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Talk
said
to Bill.
message Bill Calder. He was nervous about that too.
Yeah. So, geez, I had a question and it's gone. You know how it is with me. Oh, yeah. When are we going to see you on the dirt?
Um, I'm gonna get some lessons from Preston first and keep working at it. I'm definitely not there yet. I would be on the penalty list every week if I jumped in now. So I want to avoid that.
So you're never available in the afternoons, are you? Because the matinee races are a great place to to start out too. They're a little bit more laid back, more forgiving.
It's hit or miss for afternoons.
What do you
Sometimes I'm off by 3:30.
What do you do for a living?
I actually do catering for Airmark, but we have a Capital One contract. So we are at the Capital One headquarters in Richmond, and we do like lunch buffets, private events, receptions, beer and wine, bartending, stuff like that.
So like people ask me to help with computer problems all the time. People
Yeah.
ask Jeremy to cook, including me. He's a
Yeah.
very good cook.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
one of those
thank you.
guys. One of those guys you want on a fishing trip or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Or a C2C meet and greet
There you
somewhere
go.
at the track. Yeah.
Maybe
That'd be
guest
cool.
chef at the Burger Barn.
Well, anyways, it's been great getting to finally meet you, and like I say, see the face, behind the car, and it's been fun racing with you on the track. It's you're a pleasure to race against. Even when you take me out, I know it's never intentional,
Right.
and I hope you know it's the same going the other way.
Oh
But,
yeah, yes sir.
And congrats on that that big finish last night. I take it this will be seen Sunday, but I think you're going to race Thursday night with the Xfinity stuff.
Yes sir. We were actually practicing earlier.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Practice, that's not a word I'm that familiar with, but anyways. And no, so that's great. It just appreciate you coming on. Oh, there's another thing we want to talk about, Preston, is Jeremy's stepping up.
Yeah, we should mention that, and because we've been kind of querying for this for a while, but Jeremy is going to be helping us with the podcast. He's going to be helping on the back end as far as actually recording, so like we're doing right now. You might hear Jeremy's voice or a snicker every now and then when I say something funny. But other than that, he's going to be kind of helping, but we do still need help with the editing portion. So if somebody's willing to kind of compile the video, it's not terribly time consuming once you know how to do it and have a template set up. So if anybody's willing to do that, I can train you how to do it just like we did with Jeremy. So it's relatively easy. And we're splitting that job into two for that reason, because it should make it a whole lot less time consuming. So thanks to Jeremy, obviously, but if anybody else wants to get involved, it is fun. I mean, we have a good time, laugh and goof off. So, and the other thing about editing is you can kind of do it on your schedule. So if anybody's interested, please let me know.
Yeah, and thanks, Jeremy, for stepping up to do that. We really, really appreciate it. And we've been meaning to get together for a little while here now, so it's good to finally connect. So, anyways, thanks for coming on, buddy, and I'll see you at Richmond.
Yes sir. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks
Take
for coming on.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That'll be an outtake.